thank you for this. Yes. Look at this.
I'm the luckiest man in the world.
Folklore.
She's so hot when she says those big words.
You know what esoteric means.
I know, it's for a specific following.
Exactly. You're so handsome.
So real and so beautiful in person.
This whole Blake and Taylor thing is wild. Let me break it down for you. This whole thing with Taylor Swift and Blake Lively is getting out of control. Like, it's at a point where Taylor can have her name in a headline, but it's still none of her business, you know? Fans are losing their minds because Taylor seemed to throw some major shade at Blake on the New Heights podcast. You know, Travis Kelce's podcast? She went on there and just casually dropped a ton of bombshells about her new album. But one tiny detail is making everyone freak out. It's a new song called Ruin the Friendship. Seriously, the title alone has Swifties asking if she's taking a shot at one of her closest Hollywood besties. And if the rumors are legit, Blake is not happy about it. So how did one podcast episode turn into a whole mess about loyalty and betrayal? Let's start with that night Taylor's appearance almost broke the internet. When Taylor showed up on New Heights, nobody saw it coming. She's super private, barely does interviews, so seeing her open up on Travis's podcast was like a once-in-a-lifetime event for fans. Within hours, millions had tuned in, and the stream was so overloaded the account had to tweet, "We hit a glitch, but we'll be back shortly." It wasn't just a conversation, it was a total cultural moment. That night, she revealed her 12th album, The Life of a Showgirl, dropping on October 3rd. Swifties instantly started looking through the track list, searching for clues and hidden meanings. And right away, two titles popped off the screen, Ruin the Friendship and Cancelled. Fans couldn't ignore the timing. Only a few months earlier, at the last night of her record-breaking tour, Taylor stepped off stage through a single orange door. People instantly knew it was a hint at her next chapter. Sure enough, the entire album's theme is drenched in orange. She even explained that this era was about what happened off stage, the drama, the late-night thoughts, and all the private struggles. But out of everything, it was Ruin the Friendship that had fans buzzing. Because if that's not a direct wink at the rumors swirling around her and Blake Lively, then what is? But here's where the story gets crazier. The timing of the music and the friendship drama doesn't totally match up. As soon as the track list dropped, fan forums went insane. The phrase "ruin the friendship" felt way too on the nose to ignore. After all, Taylor and Blake had one of the tightest celebrity friendships in Hollywood. Blake even directed Taylor's video for I Bet You Think About Me, and Taylor used Blake and Ryan Reynolds' daughter James's voice in her song Gorgeous. For years, they were basically family. So when reports surfaced that the two women are currently not speaking, Swifties immediately connected the dots. The rumors spread like crazy that Ruin the Friendship was Taylor's subtle dig, her way of closing the door on a friendship that once seemed unbreakable. But here's the catch. A lot of Taylor's new album was written and recorded in mid-2024 while she was on tour in Europe. That was months before the most explosive headlines about Blake's legal battle with Justin Baldoni even came out. So if that's true, the song couldn't be a direct reaction to all that drama. It might not even be about Blake at all. Some fans even brought up other names like Karlie Kloss, since her on-again, off-again friendship with Taylor has been a hot topic for years. But none of those theories had the same weight as Blake because her history with Taylor is just too deep and too public for people to ignore. And that's exactly why the speculation went nuts so quickly. Even if the timelines don't fully match, the idea of a fallout was already in the air. A track title like that felt like total confirmation. But the rumors didn't stop with the music. What happened next pulled Taylor directly into a messy legal battle that she wanted no part of. The friendship drama didn't stay in fan theories for long, it actually spilled into a courtroom. By the end of 2024, Blake was in a very public fight with Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director on the movie It Ends With Us. She filed complaints about the set, accusing him of creating a toxic environment. Baldoni hit back with a massive countersuit, and somehow Taylor Swift's name got dragged into the mess. Baldoni's legal team tried to subpoena Taylor, claiming she was connected to behind-the-scenes drama. But Taylor's team fired back immediately. They said her only involvement was licensing her song My Tears Ricochet for the soundtrack, just like 20 other artists did. She wasn't part of the creative team, wasn't on set, and had no part in the conflict. Then came the real bombshell. A filing suggested that Blake's lawyer had allegedly threatened to leak private text messages with Taylor unless Taylor publicly supported Blake. That claim set the internet on fire, but in court it didn't last long. A judge ruled that the whole allegation was irrelevant and threw it out. Still, the headlines had already done their damage. By the time the subpoena was withdrawn, Taylor had been dragged into weeks of negative press she never asked for. And fans couldn't help but notice when Taylor later dropped a song title like "Ruin the Friendship." It felt less like a coincidence and more like a low-key clapback. But the real fire came from Taylor's own words during the podcast. One comment in particular had everyone convinced she was throwing shade. In the middle of the New Heights conversation, Taylor dropped a line that instantly became a headline. She said, "My name can be in the actual headline, and it's still none of my business." Fans couldn't ignore the timing. Just months earlier, her name was dragged into articles about Blake's fight with Baldoni, even though she wasn't involved. To listeners, this sounded like Taylor was drawing a line in the sand, telling the world she wouldn't let someone else's drama become hers. She even doubled down, saying she avoids reading online comments and doesn't waste time on negativity. On its own, those statements sound like classic Taylor, setting boundaries, keeping her private life private. But paired with the album reveal, the orange symbolism, and that track list, fans read it as way more than just general advice. They saw it as Taylor subtly shading her once close friend. Whether it was intentional or not, the internet decided it was a message, and if reports are true, Blake wasn't exactly chill about it. For years, Taylor and Blake were one of Hollywood's favorite duos. Blake directed her music video. Their kids' voices were featured on Taylor's songs. They spent holidays together and supported each other's projects like they were family. That's why the idea of a falling out felt so shocking to fans. But in 2025, multiple outlets reported that the two women were no longer speaking. Sources claimed they tried to reconnect after the subpoena drama, but it didn't stick. The legal mess had created too much distance. Suddenly, a friendship that once looked unbreakable was on pause, if not totally over. And that's where the speculation is at right now. On one hand, Taylor's album could have been done before the drama even peaked, making the song title just a weird coincidence. On the other hand, Taylor is a master storyteller, and her music often has subtle references and layered meanings. Fans are convinced "ruin the friendship" is more than just a random phrase. For now, all we know is this. The idea of a feud is alive and well, and Taylor's decision to talk about boundaries and ignoring headlines only added fuel to the fire. So, we're left with a puzzle. Taylor makes her rare podcast appearance, confirms an album about her offstage life, and casually drops a track called "Ruin the Friendship." At the same time, Blake Lively is caught in a storm of lawsuits, and Taylor herself is pulled in by subpoenas and rumors she never asked for. Add that one podcast quote about headlines being none of her business, and it's no wonder fans saw it as a total jab. The timeline tells us one story. Taylor probably wrote these songs months before the drama even hit, but the perception tells us another story entirely, that she may have used this album as her way of quietly addressing a friendship that changed. And if you followed Taylor for any length of time, you know that perception often matters just as much as fact when it comes to her music. And that's where things get interesting. Taylor is the master of double meanings. She built her career on lyrics that can be read in more than one way, giving fans room to decode and speculate for months. "Ruin the Friendship" might not be about Blake at all, or it could be about Blake but not in the way people think. It could even be a red herring designed to get us talking while the real story is hiding in plain sight. That's why I want to hear from you. Do you think this was shade? Was "Ruin the Friendship" a message aimed at Blake Lively, or are fans just connecting dots because the timing looks messy? Drop your thoughts down below because honestly, this might be one of Taylor's most layered mysteries yet. And the wild part is we still don't have the lyrics. On October 3rd, when The Life of a Showgirl finally drops, we might get some answers, or we might just end up with even more questions.